Future Proof is sponsored by Concordia Dental Healthcare, expert care you can trust.
Hello and welcome to Future Proof. Thank you so much for joining me, Sarah Hopwood, as I continue these business television programmes talking about future proofing, really looking at what the future looks like and how we can best prepare for it so that we can navigate it, feel confident. And it's not always about knowing exactly what it's going to be like. It's more about knowing whatever comes my way, I will be able to cope. If you've been following the series, then you know that sometimes I've been talking on my own in the studio, running through some elements of emotional intelligence, and other times, of course, I invite guests on. And today I'm utterly delighted to invite a gentleman that I've known for a long, long time, and in fact he's done some work for me too. So I hope that you enjoy hearing all about him, and I'm going to let him say who he is and what he does. Richard, thank you so much Richard. Yes, thank you so much for joining me. Yes,
my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic to see you, Richard. I, of course, know everything about you, well, kind of. Who are you and what do you do?
So my name's Richard Talman. I'm a goldsmith and I run a handmade bespoke jewellery business based near Haywards Heath called RTFJ.
Yeah, and he summed that up very, very quickly, but this guy is an incredibly talented craftsman in jewellery, and that's how I first knew you. I think it was your father-in-law,
yes, indeed,
who told me all about you. This is bizarre, and your father-in-law is actually a former partner of my husband, Paul,
indeed.
When they were all working at Kidston's that then amalgamated into Baker Tilly and all that lot. So I've had work done for our 25th wedding anniversary, which was 10 years ago now. You made a bespoke piece of jewellery for me for my daughter's 21st.
Yes.
And indeed I've had jewellery service, and I think my mother before she died.
I think even your son got a piece from me at some point.
Did he?
I believe so.
Oh wow!
Cufflinks, I seem to recall.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right. In fact, and Paul. So he made bespoke with initials on them, bespoke cufflinks. Absolutely fantastic. So I want to know more about you because we've summed it up in some way. But let's go right back at the beginning. Why? Why do you do what you do, and what training have you gone through?
My love for jewellery came from a lifelong passion of geology. I can't recall back to the exact time, but my parents told me it was around about from the age of 5, where I used to collect like rocks and minerals like gemstones, geodes, amethysts, that sort of thing. And that passion for shiny gemstones stayed with me for the vast part of my life. My father was a metal worker. Sheet metal worker and coppersmith, and although that doesn't equal making jewellery in any way, shape or form, my father and son bonding as a child wasn't spent at football pitches and wasn't spent fishing, it was spent doing metal work. And by the time I went to school, I realised that I had a passion for both gemstones and metalwork, so I mean it really did just seem that the pair of them would go hand in hand to take me into being a goldsmith.
So where did you do your so once you decided that, then how did you then pursue your training? Because you were very, very well, in fact arguably you were trained by the best.
Absolutely, yes. I was most fortunate. I started a pre-apprenticeship course in diamond mounting at an arts college called John Cass then in Whitechapel in London. I was then selected for an apprenticeship by a gentleman called David Laws. Very understated man, but certainly still to this day one of the best diamond mounters that I've had the pleasure of meeting, let alone working for. And he taught me in a very, very thorough way, very thorough, and he showed me how to make things. He would not be afraid to tell you to make an item 3, 4, 5, sometimes even 10 times if it meant getting it correct. And that level of perfection has stayed with me, I would like to think, and something that I've most certainly passed on to my apprentice.
I endorse that, by the way that you've worked on my stuff. You are a perfectionist. So this programme is about future proofing, and we're going to say more about your business in the second half. But immediately, with this, the intense accuracy, how does that fit then with the ability of a robot to make rings, earrings? cufflinks?
There has always been a mass production process that has been associated with jewellery making, and it's called casting. And originally this was involved where someone like myself would make a one-off piece, and then a mould was made from that to reproduce, which is where most of the high street jewellery comes from. However, there has been mainly, certainly for the last 10 years, but most popular in the last 5, is a process called CAD, computer aided design. Obviously, this is where designers with actually no jewellery making experience can design a ring on the computer, actually produce a full render of it, and it create a wax printer. So instead of pressing print and it print a piece of paper, it actually prints a life-size piece of wax.
So it's 3D,
three-dimensional. That then goes into the casting process. Now, this is becoming so popular now because the price of precious metals, there is zero waste. When I make a piece of jewellery, you've got at least 30%, maybe even 50% of waste that can't be reclaimed, which sadly has to be sort of passed on. But in this CAD process, it completely eliminates that. Now, as great a process as it is, it completely stops, in my opinion, the authenticity of the piece, the warmth of the piece, the value. Everyone is buying a piece of jewellery for a sentimental reason. Very, very rarely does someone just go and treat themselves for no reason. We are also doing, or certainly something I'm doing, is the recycling of gold. Everyone has a piece of jewellery that has been left by their mother or their father, some of their rings, and that piece of gold, rather than just having it scrapped, that can be brought to my workshop and it can be melted down in front of the customer and recycled into something new. Now, it's that level of the recycling and it's that level of the personable approach that is completely eliminated from the
so what
CAD design.
Yeah, and what you're talking about then is the relationship between the thing and the person, and it is emotional. Like you say,
Absolutely.
It's a bit like also if you have a broken relationship or something that hurts, the last thing you're going to do is wear that piece of jewellery or what have you. People find it very difficult to detach from that emotion that's associated with it. And I certainly know for my daughter's 25th, both our kids had a budget for their 25th and they could do what they wanted with it. And you came here, you sat down, you asked Catherine what she liked, you got pen and paper out, there was some drawing going on, it was interactive, and then when we came to collect it, you know, you very carefully gave it to her, but I know in her mind, what have you, she's almost holding it like on a silver salver because she has that really deep connection with, for my 21st, I chose that
exact piece, knowing that no one else will have that exact piece.
That's right, because she chose the stone. I think oval, was it? It's oval, diamond and oval. You probably can't remember. Sorry, because it's 9 years ago. But I just remember all of that, so it's very interactive. Fantastic. Richard, we're going to be going into the break in a moment. Before I do, and do please stay with me because I want to carry on chatting with you. If somebody is listening and saying, first of all, what about expense? How does your pricing compare to the high street? Are they sat there thinking, yeah, but I bet it's a lot more expensive?
On a like-for-like product, as in having something made via the channels of the high street, it would definitely be cheaper. It's going to be more expensive than buying an off-the-shelf piece, absolutely, sadly, for reasons I've already explained. But when you're actually after something that is incredibly sentimental to you, and you cannot find what you're after in the high street, the only thing I'd say to someone is, please just come along and let me give you a quote. I'd say you'd be surprised.
I think be surprised, but also the other thing that we haven't really mentioned here too is actually the quality of the stones. We're going to be going straight into the break now, so do stay with me, but I know you always interact with top quality stones, and certainly for my diamonds, you know, I know they are the best. So your email address, your website address?
It's www.rtfj.co.uk.
Cool. Stay with me, and please do Google Richard, have a look. He has pictures up there. At one point Catherine's ring was up there, so if you see an oval blue and diamond ring, then you know that that's my daughter's, but if not,
I better hurry up and put it back on.
It was a long time ago, and indeed I bet your wife's engagement ring is on there too. Anyway, stay with me and we'll see you in just a moment. So thank you very much, Richard.
Pleasure.
EQ, emotional quotient, is better known as emotional intelligence. It is a tangible tool that can sit alongside your services or your product, and it can be taught. Leaders with high EQ have less stress, they're more effective, and they earn more money. There's a great saying, just because we have pains, it does not give us permission to be a pain. I believe that teaching emotional intelligence has a direct impact on your sense of success and your net profits. EQ will empower you and your workforce to drive the change that you want. Change brings transition. EQ can help unpack what's holding you back and speed up that period of transition.